Hello, everybody. We're live, except not ready. So we're going to. Anyways, you know how it is sometimes, right? Oh, ooh, something's horrible has happened. Yeah, yeah. Because I just walked away that time. I was like, Gick entertained people and left. Uh, well, it wasn't. It was this morning. It was this morning. Yeah. No, it was this morning. I was there. That stream is why I'm not ready because there's so many map updates because of that stream that I completely underestimated how long it would take for me to update the map. That's why. They do make a big boom. Charles was a combat engineer. Unfortunately, we've lost Charles. Um, that's okay. It's a lot of click. Charles sure did love his engineering. Maybe we'll get Charles back one day. Yeah, happens. Oh, he can't. Oh, they can't hear you. Oh, we have that bug again. So it's just been me talking to myself, where you've been making fun of me the entire time, and they don't even know about it. Oh, that's awful. Um, that's awkward too. Let's see if I can fix this. Um, it's weird. That's, that's real. Oh, I think I know what happened. I think I know what happened. Okay. Um, yeah. Oh, that's interesting to know, actually. It's also weird. So apparently, if I launch this app while I'm in a chat, like a private chat with somebody,
Uh-huh.
they can hear you now. By the way, if I launch the stream while in a private chat with somebody, they can't hear you.
Well, that's a problem.
I finally figured out why it works sometimes and why it doesn't work other times. So now we know. Now we know that we just can't that I can't launch the app while in a chat with somebody. Anyways,
Listen, folks, I just made fun of Gick. I talked about
correct,
Miklik for like
correct.
3 minutes. Like it was great, and you missed it all, and I'm really sorry. I'm not going to replay it.
Yeah,
But thank you to Gick for letting us know that we couldn't hear me at all, and that's great. Oh well.
Yeah, and he doesn't even get offended because he didn't know you were mocking him almost the entire time.
Right, exactly. This is actually kind of the best of all worlds. Like I got to say all the things and he doesn't know what I said and it's just you and me. And so like unless we bet one of your body parts on something, we're good to go.
Okay, so my map is almost updated now. Like I'm getting closer. I could, I guess I could stream me updating the map. I could do that, I guess.
Would, would that be a security issue?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't
Uh,
believe so.
yeah, I'm just doing all of the map changes. Most of these map changes we talked about in the stream. Um, so they're like not a surprise to anyone who watched that. I just I just did. I mean, now I'm going to like write some notes in here, right? Um, not in advance, right? So this is when people misquote me. I can point to them and say it's not in advance. It's written right there. Everybody, people saw me write it live on the internet. That's not in advance. And then I get to update the map. But anyways, this is me updating the map because I didn't have time before. Because there's just so much. Like
Are you showing people on the stream? Because you're not showing me.
oh yes, I forgot that I'm not showing you.
Okay. And for the record, I was correct. Your very short stream of content that I watched today was yesterday. I just double checked it on Twitter. You posted it yesterday. It says 1 day ago.
Do you mean the 47-second long video?
I don't
That
know.
was yesterday, but the stream was today. It was at 9 a.m. today. Yeah, so if you don't know, like all these green eyeballs are I made these today with Kick.
Green balls.
Yeah, there's all these green eyeballs. Yeah, yeah. And you can see that that stream is why I'm not ready because there's all these little map updates that we didn't know about because we didn't have our green eyeballs, you know? Um, Also note that I do date from biggest to smallest, which is a form of date that Exit hates. So, um,
No, I accept that form of dating. I refuse to accept the forms of dating that include, for instance, the day in the very middle of the date. There's no sense that, for instance, those green eyeballs today, Gik was counting those green eyeballs in a small little space, and there was 131 of them, and he was not done counting 131 of them.
oh no, those weren't
There,
the green eyeballs. Those were the total
oh,
updates today, and that was only for one spreadsheet. The other spreadsheet had like 90, so I didn't get around to mapping them all. Um,
click strikes.
so I'm almost done here. Oh boy, you see, this is Google. Like you guys, you saw me update this. Like you saw me do it like a moment ago, and Google broke it because Google hates me. Now
Damn it, Google.
now I get to do it again. This is the thing is that when you work with Google products, you have to paranoid save and restart to make sure that it broke because it usually does. And this was a change. And I think that's all the changes. There's that change. Okay, so I guess I can just kind of go through the changes, right? So so here's
Hey,
change. Yeah.
did you get a new mouse? Because I see less skipping around than
Oh yeah,
in
yeah, I
front.
got a new mouse, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting for me too. I don't have to spend half of my day like messing around with my mouse anymore.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it got to the point where I literally couldn't work anymore. Anyways, so these are the map updates. So they're all based on these green eyeballs. Here, I'm gonna export this and import it into the other map so that yeah. I'll give you a second. This is the X. Oh,
Oh no.
okay. Sometimes
What
it
are you
does
doing?
that. I'm
Don't break
exporting.
the don't break them live. This is bad.
Okay, so we're just exporting. This is you're getting a glimpse of my life, the life of working with Google products that never work right, and break all the time. Okay, so I'm going to I'm gonna put up my florks, and I'll be right back. Florks, where'd my florks go?
Where are your florks?
Um, okay,
Oh, hi, florks. I think we named them once, but I've forgotten what their names are. I should have written down. We need, if you haven't noticed lately, Andrew's map has an updated flork. The last time I saw him, he had a toque, which is a very Canadian word to mean something along a winter hat that sits on your head, as well as a mug of something yummy and delicious and warm, which seems like a really good choice for this season because it seems to be as cold as is humanly possible to survive. We can all see that. Are we supposed to see that?
yes,
Okay. I never know these things. I like to check.
okay. So okay, so here are the map updates. So here near Novoprokopivka, I made it all a gray area again because we've had Ukrainian drone attacks here. We've had Russian drone attacks. We've had Russian vehicles explode. We have this green eyeball of super heavy shelling.
Wait, we see
So,
florks.
what's that?
We see florks.
Oh, you see flirks?
Yeah.
Awkward. That's awkward. Uh,
Try. I see florks. I hope we see florks. Yeah, we see florks. Gick says we see florks.
okay. Here, I'll deflurk you. We see flirks. Everybody's like, we see flirks. Okay. Um, why is it? Whatever. I'll just do this. So here is the. Oh boy.
Yay.
Okay. So we're good. Okay. So this is this area near Novoprokopivka. Um, we've had some Russian drone attacks the other day, right here. And we've had some Russian vehicles explode in this general area, and we have this giant green eyeball thing going on. So this is now I've marked it as a gray area. So that's one map change. Um, so all of these green eyeballs are heavy shelling, notable shelling. It's not all heavy. This area near Kopani is confusing to me because this shelling here, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of looks like Russian shelling, but it's in an area where we have no reason to believe Ukraine is there. If Ukraine is there, that'd be really interesting because it's very, very close to Kopani. But anyway, I don't know what to say about that. Here is some more shelling, etc. So all these green eyeballs are shelling. Some of them are in predictable places, some of them are not, etc. This one is pretty interesting too. This might be Russian shelling. I'm not sure. But anyways, over here near Sharifne, um, there's this super heavy shelling, which makes me well, it's not super heavy, but it's heavy for this region. It's super heavy for this region. So um, it makes me think that Ukraine is actually in that position. Whereas before I had it as Russian, I no longer believe this is Russian. It's at best a gray area, but I'm pretty sure Ukrainian held. And there's also this little green eyeball down there, which is some sort of MRL strike. And also over here, which is pretty interesting because we get a lot of news reports from the police, from the national police, saying that there's shelling near Bielorussia, and this is like the first actual evidence of shelling near there that I've had in a long time. So that was interesting. So that's a map update. Over here near Chervona, we have this shelling going all the way down this tree line here, which is super interesting. It's this tree line, like the shelling actually goes further than I marked. Um, we know that Russia's been attacking Chervona. I had heard and I understood them to have been attacking from the south, like this arrow, but it really appears that they're attacking over here, which is interesting. I guess this is the south, but I would describe this more as southeast, not south. So there's that. That's one map change. Um, all of these green eyeballs, they're all in predictable areas. This one is super interesting because there's all this shelling right next to the pre-Utiny, but I don't really know how to like explain it. The rest of the shelling is exactly where we expect it to be, more or less. And this one over here is interesting. It's not super heavy shelling, but it's interesting. Okay, so um, down here near Eurogina, there was this big battle here, and there's lots of scarring to show that. But we already kind of knew about that. There's been this back and forth of territory. It's possible I mean, it's actually pretty probable that Ukraine had recaptured this whole corner, but I have as a gray area still. This area is getting shelled, but um, it's not super interesting because we knew Ukraine was there already. This area here is getting very lightly shelled, but it's enough to be notable because we have had a lot of reports of Russia attacking towards Zolotoniva, and this is like the only place with shelling near Zolotoniva other than this over here, which is super lightly shelled as well. But I marked it just because I don't know how else to describe attacks near this town because there's no signs of fighting anywhere outside those two places. Over here near Pavlivka, we have shelling in this area, which is predictable, not super heavy either, but also shelling here, which we've had shelling here pretty consistently for like a very long time, like 8 months or something. It's been a while. Like it's to the point where I should probably mark this as Ukrainian controlled because it probably is. But this is so close to Pavlivka. Like it's like one farm field away from Pavlivka. It's actually super interesting that Ukraine is so close to Pavlivka on both of these sides. Like, why couldn't Ukraine ever capture the city again? I mean, recapture it because they did capture it like last year and then they lost it again. But then we have shelling near Mikilske, which is all normal. We have this. Um, this is a map change I almost made last week. Because if you remember, I moved. Here, let's go back in time. So there was this point where I moved up this Russian control, and I was really tempted to put the Ukrainian control back to in this yellow spot, but I ultimately didn't. Or, and I basically have again. Well, there's that, and the reason why is this pretty heavy ongoing shelling. We do know that Ukraine attacked across this field and tried to recapture this position right here, and it failed. Which means that in order for them to attack there, they would have to be pretty close. But anyways, so that's that. That's one map change. There's this minor map change based on this shelling. Basically, this whole tree line is getting shelled. You can see the top of it up here and then the side of it over here. So this whole area is getting shelled. Russia did this assault. I can't remember what day this was. It was like 2 or 3 days ago. They did this assault. The actually was it yesterday? Anyway, they did this assault or today. Anyway, they did this assault. They lost a whole bunch of vehicles. Some tanks, some BTR, not BTRs. It was a BMP3 and two MTLBs and two tanks, I think. Um, so there was that. And then going on north, I made a stream about this map change, um, where Ukraine appears to have recaptured this mine, and there was another drone attack there published today. Uh, all these kind of green eyeballs in the normal areas of Velska and Pervomaiska and just north of Pervomaiska, so that's all normal. We have these super heavy shellings near uh, where Russia did this huge attack in Avdiivka, so that's pretty predictable. We kind of knew that already, but you can see just how heavy the shelling is. It's pretty ridiculous. And just keep in mind that this shelling all came in a very short period of time because prior to this attack, there was very little shelling there. And the same up here. Well, this was getting shelled, but not like this. So, but if you go back to the satellite footage, in fact, I could open it. Um, It's very brave. This website doesn't always load very quickly. And it's not loading very quickly this time. Uh,
It suckered you in. Oh, there we go.
okay. So I'm gonna go back in time. Uh, I wasn't expecting to go back in time that far. I thought there was the image on the 21st. Let's just look for a day. Oh, here. Okay, so here, this is the 13th. So this is the 13th. I will brighten it up a little bit. Uh, oh, I mean darken it. Darken it? Darken it. Not that dark. Too dark. Whatever. Let's go there. Anyway, here you see that on the 13th, this is kind of fresh snow, so but you see that there's not this heavy shelling, right? I'll go back. Maybe there's another day. There's not. Okay, so I'll go back to today, and it's too dark. Too dark. Okay, and now you see there's this heavy shelling. So that the just 10 days ago there was little shelling, and now crazy shelling. And I think we marked this on the map yesterday. Um, Probably better than that. Um, did we mark it yesterday? What we did. Oh, no, it was 2 days ago. Okay, so this is the shelling. Um, so this was before the attack, just a few days ago, and this was after the attack. Um, so this is actually from 2 days ago. You can see how much shelling there is from that to today. It's like a lot more. So anyway, so all this shelling happened in a very short period of time, like less than 10 days, basically. But this area was really heavily shelled. Also, there's pretty heavy shelling near Zenit down here. Anyway, this is the southern part of Zenit. The northern part of the base is the more heavily defended area. The south is kind of more of a layered defense. There's like layers of trench lines, etc. So this is like the outmost trench line, and this northern bunker is the primary defensive position. So that is the southernmost part of Zenit getting hit, whereas like these buildings are the primary defense. All right, so that's that. There's this little map change that I've been meaning to do for a while. Just got around to it. So there's that. Based on ongoing drone attacks, ongoing shelling. Like there's this video of Ukraine was doing a what looks like a troop rotation. Um, anyway, so there's that. Are there any more map changes? I can't remember. All these green eyeballs are in all the regular places, more or less. Actually, super interesting that there's these drone attacks right here near Mayorsk because this is an area that not Russia, that Ukrainian forces claimed that Russia captured just a few days ago. So I never marked it because I didn't trust that report very much. But the Ukrainians said that Russia had pushed up and captured. I think this is a pipeline or a canal or whatever. Anyway, they pushed up and captured everything along that. So they claim that this whole area has been captured, and now Russia's attacking it with drones, which is super interesting. So moving on up, all these are in the regular places that you would expect. Nothing big. And then there's this map change that I've been meaning to make for a while. There have been so many reports and geolocated footage of just really heavy shelling here. As I go back in time, I'm trying to look for a specific date. I don't know what day it was, so it's hard. Anyway, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. This is it. There's this video. Here, we watch this. This isn't bad. Oh, I forgot. I forgot. Why is it not? I'm confused. Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay, so this is the footage. It is a toss strike. So you can see that this whole area is getting pretty heavily shelled. And I don't think Russia would be doing this unless Ukraine controlled this area. So, and that's not the only strike either. There's been tons of strikes. And we have this satellite imagery of pretty heavy ongoing shelling along this whole area. So that's that. That's why I've marked this as a Ukrainian controlled. Now, to move on, these are all green eyeballs, all in pretty much expected places. This green eyeball is super interesting. There's not that much shelling going on, but there is. Oh, that's not. Anyway, that's the wrong image. That image is supposed to be here. Yeah, I messed this up. But anyways, there's supposed to be there is some shelling here. Uh, there's shelling here. If you remember, Ukraine at one point had attacked down from Rostolivka. They attacked down from Rostolivka. They pushed down this tree line. They captured this tree line and this parallel tree line, and they were attacking this tree line here. Well, that happened in June 22nd, I think. So since then, we've kind of believed that Russia had either well, we believe that Ukraine left first off, that they don't control it anymore, and we were also kind of debating on whether Russia had recaptured it or if they had just captured this kind of ridge here and that this was a gray zone. But now we see shelling here, which is very, very interesting. Even if I upload the wrong image, it kind of suggests because you can see that I've marked this as red. Um, I'll probably go back and mark this as a gray area. It's really very interesting. This tree line in particular is full of trenches, and Ukraine did control those trenches, and we never actually saw evidence that they lost those trenches, other than nothing ever happened. Like there was there were a lot of signs of fighting right here and kind of pushing down, but then it all just stopped and nothing happened again, because all the everything shifted towards Robotina after that. But anyways, there's all these little green eyeballs along the front where you would expect them along the Vesele. Of note, there's like no evidence of anything happening in Vesele. We pretty much know that Russia captured it. We don't know the full extent of their capture. Um, but there's no real signs of fighting there, other than on these hills. And on these hills, you can see light to moderate shelling in all of the Ukrainian trench lines. And back here, which is probably mortars or something, like Ukrainian mortar positions, etc. And up here, this is a Ukrainian trench line. And over here, this is another Ukrainian trench line. Anyway, that's all that. Over here, these are two positions that we've seen a lot of, not a lot, well, anyway, not for a while. There used to be a lot of videos from here. This position, I believe, is called Granite, and the K2 Battalion released a whole series of videos about attacks in this area. Those were from last winter, and they released them this spring, I think. And this is kind of like a sister position. I can't remember the name of it, but they both kind of work together, and you see both of them are getting pretty shelled, which is interesting. Um, I wonder if we'll see more videos about that from the K2 Battalion. Um, there's I don't have anything to say about this, but this was if I remember right, this is a Russian assault moving on up, and I think this was a Ukrainian trench line. I think maybe I'm wrong. Gek will probably yell at me. Uh, but anyways, the Russians lost that one, and moving on. These green eyeballs, I have nothing to say. We know that this is where the super heavy fighting was recently, where Russia's lost like a dozen vehicles. They've lost so many. So these green eyeballs go kind of without saying. There's another lost vehicle, BMP2, and yep, this is another green eyeball in a predictable place. Although it's super interesting, though, isn't it? Because this is really heavy shelling, actually. Like, this is really heavy shelling in an area that we thought was Russian held. And I think we can all agree that Ukraine doesn't have the ammo to do that level of shelling. They wish they did. Like, Ukraine would love to have the ammo. But it really kind of hints at this is not Russian controlled. What do you think? This is a lot of shelling. It's so much shelling. Man, I don't know, dude.
That um so and just to be clear, when is that image from?
Today,
Yeah. On the same day that I've seen like a multitude of reports from Ukraine about how they have like no ammo and it's like a 10-1 Russian advantage right now.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot of shelling. Or maybe they just have a whole lot of Mavic drones dropping hand grenades.
Nope, it's badgers. They have a badger infestation,
Yeah. So
and that's what it looks
I think I might have to change this to Russian controlled. There's no way. There's no way this is Ukrainian shelling. That has to be a Ukrainian trench line. Oh boy. Oh, okay. Okay, moving on. So, there's this shelling here, not super heavy. It's very light shelling. I just noted it for kind of my own purposes. And then moving on up, this is the Krakmalne area. I think that's how you pronounce it. You know, I people may say I can't pronounce anything, which is true. I do try. Okay, well, sometimes. Anyway, I think this is pronounced Krakmalne, and this is the area where Russia recently did an offensive. To be honest, we can't find super strong evidence of heavy fighting. The heaviest fighting we could find, or the heaviest shelling, is this, which is not. I mean, it's like 10 artillery shells. So there's that, and oh boy, let me fix this. Okay, and this one, which is a bit more, like 20 artillery shells. So there's that and this. So this is the only like strong evidence of fighting that we could find. It kind of seems that Russia took this without artillery, which is weird. It's a weird thing.
How often does that happen?
It can happen sometimes, but it kind of shows that this wasn't a high intensity battle. Because if it were a high intensity battle, it basically like if you attack a position. Okay, so from what I can gather, the way Russia tends to work is they just attack you and see what happens. And if they win, right? And if they lose, like maybe they'll try it a few more times. But then they start just shelling you, like really heavily shelling you. And then they'll just like shell you and shell you and shell you and then attack you again. And if that doesn't work, they'll just keep shelling you and then attack you again. And then they'll just keep doing that. Just shell, 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 attack, 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 shell, 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 attack, attack, attack until they capture it. But if they attack you, like if they capture it on the first try, they never get to the shelling. This is the sort of thing that can happen where this is this is the shelling we see. It's like 10 artillery shells, you know? And we don't we don't really see too much shelling around Krakmanet either. We don't really see much shelling in this northern part either. We do see some near this town. You can see some kind of it's all like kind of around the town, not maybe in it. It's really hard to tell. Like it's really hard to see artillery in a town just because there's so much stuff in a town. You know, there's anyway, but around the town we see it like there's these and this and this and this. So there's all of it around the town, but we don't see any like out here in the fields and except for these two places. So that was interesting. It was just a thing, you know. Um, yeah, and then this northern part was all cloudy, so we didn't get any images up there. One person asked, why would I mark it as Russian controlled if it's getting shelled by Russians? Because this was marked as Russian controlled on what is this, October 25th. So this is not fresh. I think I'll probably mark it as Ukrainian controlled after this stream because it appears it's pretty obviously Ukrainian controlled of this level of shelling. Like not only like like this level of shelling, it kind of shows that like probably up to like around here, like this whole area is probably Ukrainian controlled. Like look at the extent of the shelling. Like it goes like halfway down that tree line, like this tree line, and it goes a bit of the ways down that tree line as well. So yeah, this it really appears that like this right here is like the center of the Ukrainian defensive position. And it kind of goes like from there, like this, and like a little S, like that. Anyways, so that's the kind of the green eyeballs. I just kind of sprinted through them. I hope that wasn't boring. But those green eyeballs, they usually tell us more about what's going on than like anything else, to be honest. Um, so yeah, beyond that, today there were massive. I don't know if massive is even the right word. There were missile strikes on Kharkiv. They hit two main places. Well, there were three missile attacks on Kharkiv, each one consisting of multiple missiles. So one of them hit like over here, one of them hit here, and the third one hit in the same area, but I don't know where because as I haven't seen photos or videos of it. The third attack happened tonight, just a few hours ago. So one of these missile strikes. Anyway, there's just if you want to read news, I have all this news with all the sources. You can see the photographs, etc. There's all these dots you can click through and read the source material. That's the same dot. Anyway, there are multiple dots, and so so yeah, I'll try to find the last dot. Um, yeah. I need to I need to fix the dots contain too much information. But yeah, the in short, I believe there are I believe there were 60 wounded and nine died. I think that was the final total. One of those who died was an 8-year-old girl. Mm. And there, I think there's a strong chance they might find more dead tomorrow. I think it's a solid chance of that because I don't know what happened afterwards, but there was one guy who was pulled out of rubble alive, and he said that his whole family was still in, and I haven't heard an update on that guy's family yet. I don't know if they retrieved them or what happens, but it's all very sad. So that happened in Kharkiv. There were three separate attacks on Kharkiv. Um, there was the attack on Shaska in Sumy. I don't know too much about that attack other than there are some key factories in that city that I assume they attacked. The only news that I have that's official is that they attacked a quote critical infrastructure. I don't know what that means. In Kiev, we had um, more missile strikes. Um, there's a really sad video. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. There's all sorts of I can't remember. Do you know the casualty numbers for Kiev? I can't remember them.
I don't, but I will look
Oh,
them
it's
up. Give me
22. 22. 22 injured. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so Kyiv got hit, of course, and Plavlograd got hit. This was hit the least bad, I guess. They say they hit four schools. Four schools, some apartment buildings, houses. I think one person died, and yeah, that was more or less the major missile strikes today. There was also a strike on Balaklia, where they hit several schools, administrative buildings. They wounded two people. These numbers, it's funny. It's not funny. It's weird to me how I can read the same information from multiple sources and like the numbers are all a little bit different. Because I remember it being an 88-year-old man, but that says 87. But anyways, there were a lot of missile strikes today. There were more missile strikes today than you probably think there were. I haven't even mapped them all because I ran out of time. Um,
Did you map Kharkiv?
I
The one
did.
that was like 20 minutes ago, like an hour ago.
I did not map that one, no.
It was in city center. Yeah, there are videos of that already.
Yeah, dude.
We Kharkiv took three missile attacks only today.
Yeah, the one on the apartment building is very upsetting.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And then they Russian media came out and said that it's the residential building, military targets disguised as residential buildings. Have you seen that?
I didn't see it, but they say that so often that, I mean,
I mean, they did it on Twitter. I don't usually, look at them making posts on Twitter, but this was just absurd. Like literally,
yeah.
you have, ladies, old ladies in blood, children being carried, and they say they struck. It was a residential building disguised as a military building disguised as a residential. Fucking hypocrites.
Yeah, there's I have this spreadsheet that this is a public spreadsheet that you can read. Maybe I'll put the link in the description of the video. But in this I have sources for lots of things that happen every day. So these are all the sources for Kharkiv. If you click through these, you can see all the photographs and videos. And I think either the State Emergency Service or the National Police, it was one of these two, they posted the video of the little girl. And that video is heartbreaking. And I would love to see those Russians try to explain that video with their, oh, it's a military facility. Okay. You can see the little girl. Okay. Okay, so people are talking about Ukraine's interception rate. I mean, I don't know the exact, I don't know what's true or false. Okay, so the official number that Ukraine said was that they shot down 15 out of 15 cruise missiles, or 15 out of 15 of the X-101s last night. And that seems like a good percentage to me. Like, are they supposed to shoot 16 out of 15? I don't know. There were the X-59s. I think they said they shot down, what was it, like 5 out of 6 or something? I can't remember. And then there's the other type of missile. I can't remember the types of missiles. But anyways, there's like the main cruise missiles they shot down, and then it was kind of the other smaller missiles that they didn't shoot down as well. But that's probably because those missiles were attacking places with like smaller population centers, like not the main Ukrainian cities. You know, so they're harder to shoot down. You might have less time to shoot them down because they might be closer to the front. Anyways, so I think they did pretty okay. You have to keep in mind that Ukraine basically has no defense against the X-22s, which Russia, I think, shot 6 of last night. Ukraine can shoot them down, but only the most expensive defenses that Ukraine has can handle them, like a Patriot or a SAM-T. Otherwise, or sometimes the S-300 if the situation is right. But generally speaking, Ukraine can't really handle those missiles, and the S-300 is pretty much the same problem, where Ukraine can't realistically shoot down S-300. They can, but it's just everything has to be like perfect for it to work. So if you look at the missiles that Ukraine can shoot down, they shot down like a lot. Like last night was a pretty good night for the air defense. But the problem is that Russia is using a lot of missiles that Ukraine can't shoot down.
Can you hear me? There. It's also important to point out that, like, just because they hit a missile and it doesn't impact its intended target, there is still going to be debris that falls, and that debris can do damage in a lot of different ways. And oftentimes what we're seeing is that debris hit, and it's causing the massive amounts of damage that we're seeing.
Yeah, that happened a lot in Kiev. You could see the missiles on fire crashing. It's a pretty good sign that it's this is the public version of this spreadsheet. I'm gonna put this in the description of the video, so if you want to look at it, you can. Okay, so it's in the description. You can go look at that if you're interested in it. It dates back only to October 13th. But it goes up to today. So anyway, there's 3,360 entries. The majority of them are just various war crimes, to be honest. The yellow background means that I've added it to the map, and the ones that aren't yellow, I have not added to the map yet. And if you look at today, there's a bunch that aren't yellow. So I need to add those to the map later. Anyways, how much airtime am I aiming for today? I don't know. It's just like hour 3 at this point, right? Anyways, Constantine, is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Oh, I want to talk about this about the shellings, but it's like we don't have, like, Kharkiv has no air defense systems at all, I think, because I have never heard anything intercepted around Kharkiv, like literally anything. So, and I never heard that from anyone of my friends or family that they heard some kind of explosions in the air.
Well, I'll tell you what. Kharkiv does have air defense because they shoot down Shaheds.
Yeah, so that we have mobile machine gun groups. That's I know, we call them. Misha was a machine gun.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have like Iglas or something. But yeah, they have nothing. I don't think they have anything bigger than that. Maybe a Strela or something.
Yep. So, well, Strela this is an army, but anyway, yeah, this is sad, and I would really love if Kharkiv could get at least 1 or 2 batteries of some kind of air defense system, like maybe Iris-T and the Patriot for the layering. But because it's terrible, man. It's like a shooting range for Russians.
Yeah, and it's not the only city either. There's Zaporizhia that gets hit a lot. There's Kherson.
Yeah, I know that's Kharkiv, but Kharkiv is second biggest city in Ukraine. Well, it was probably now has much less population now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just comes down to priorities, I guess. I mean, if you had,
We don't have enough. That's obvious. We don't have enough missiles. We don't have enough launchers. We don't have enough.
if I gave you a new Patriot battery, where would you put it?
I can give you my address in Kharkiv. My brother.
Because I could tell you where I would put a Patriot battery, and it would be like over here.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm a fan of. I don't think that air defenses, of course, air defenses work, they protect. But what I think is that the most important part is making Russia, suffer consequences for every actions that they do. It is what can actually stop this, because no matter how many Patriots we get, no matter how many defense systems that we get, if Russia isn't punished for what they're doing, it's just like a shooting practice. They will keep doing it. So, I would try to use Patriot offensively. That would be my idea, because I think we've heard that there was this operation north of Chernihiv where they moved Patriot battery and took down Russian helicopters and planes. And then suddenly Chernihiv shelling stopped almost completely because they could not launch guided air bombs anymore, and because they were afraid, and they stopped it. So, of course, it's much harder to do with this long range missiles, but if we throw out the Russian actual forces from Ukraine, they will have no need to, there is no point of spending your money to bomb the towns because they have no objectives there at all. So I would much rather use those batteries offensively and say, like, okay, I understand that the citizens suffer, but to stop that, we have to actually, throw Russians out. And unfortunately, our citizens will have to endure the pain to make sure that there is no pain in the future. This would be my use of it. But I would, of course, you have to know the information. But from what I see, that's how I will use it, because we've seen the successful Patriot use it offensively. So I will try that.
Speaking of helicopters, Russia made heavy use of helicopters today. Apparently, this is what I've heard. In their missile strikes today, apparently they were using their helicopters to spoof, I think, missile launches. Or I'm not exactly sure how they work, but they're the electronic warfare helicopters were playing a big role in the missile strike today, which I assume, like I have assumed the entire time that they've always done that. But what I found interesting today is that Ukraine talked about it. Because I can't remember them ever talking about that.
What did they say? Do you have more details?
Not really. They said that it was hard to count, like it was hard to track how many missiles were in the air because of the Russian electronic warfare helicopters were flying around. I'm not even sure how those helicopters work. Like, are they Are they like jamming radar? Or are they spoofing missiles? I'm not sure how they work. Um,
Yeah, I don't know either, but I think they're trying to jam the raiders. That's what I would expect.
yeah, I'm not sure. But
Because
anyways,
to spoof something, you have to know what you're spoofing. But with the to jam the radar, you actually receive the particles of it, and you know the frequencies, so you can try to jam them.
they also fired a bunch of dummy missiles, like electronic warfare type missiles, along with the actual attack. So there was a lot of electronic warfare in this attack today. And I think they did multiple waves of those the dummy missiles, because even after the final big wave attacked, like an hour later, uh, the planes took off again and fired another wave of missiles, and those were all electronic warfare, I believe. But yeah, it was just interesting to me. I think Russia always does that. Like, I don't think that's new, but it was just interesting that Ukraine talked about it. I think that's the new part. But yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say. Ixay, is there any boat news?
Uh, like there's some tangentially related stuff just from a ship that like nearly sunk in a storm, some other things like that. But there's really nothing all that new about what's going on shipwise, and that's the best possible news that we could hear. It has been a little bit slower than we saw in December. There's not as much traffic going in and out of Odessa, but there's a lot of reasons for that, and most of them have nothing to do with Ukraine. It's not anything that Ukraine could really fix. So, like, obviously, the holidays kind of created a little bit of a slowdown. What's going on there in the Red Sea seems to be having a little bit of effect, but it's not really clear how much of an effect there is. We haven't actually seen any ships going around the Horn of Africa. So, like, and also pricing has been like pricing for grain has been a little bit up and down in the last couple months. So, like, all things considered, it's the Odessa area ports are operating how we would hope to see them operate in a non-wartime environment for the most part. And that's about as good as we could hope for at this point in time. Like, to have them affected by other market forces is actually kind of a good sign that they are running quite effectively.
Gotcha. What do you think of the new helicopters? What do you think those are going to be used for?
Uh, which ones? Wait,
There's
did I miss?
there's like naval helicopters coming from Germany.
Oh, yes. Um, hmm. So I think the most important thing would be to point out that Ukraine's Navy does a lot of things that don't always have to do with the water. And that I just, let's put it this way. I don't know that I want to speculate about what Ukraine's going to do with those naval helicopters. I don't presume they'll probably need to use them very much on the Odessa side of the Black Sea. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
That
Those
was
are,
very vague.
those
I'm
are-
sorry.
yeah. Those are aren't they like anti-submarine helicopters? I don't think that's how they would ever use them, but I think that's what they are, right?
I mean, so
I'm not saying they're gonna hunt submarines. I just think I'm pretty sure that's what they are. Like they're
yeah,
anti-submarine
like
helicopters.
the only way they could get targeting information or submarines on their side of the Black Sea would be to get that information from NATO currently, because those are the only ISR assets up in the air. There is definitely some interesting mining that's going on that is a little bit questionable, and we haven't been able to figure out exactly where that's happening. But I would be very surprised to find out that the mining incidents that have happened that are very close to shore were laid by a submarine. Because I think that's probably, there's enough traffic in those areas that it's likely a ship would have caught something somewhere along the way. Because it's not even like, it used to be that the grain corridor and that whole western side, they really only operated during the daytime, and that's not even really the case anymore. They now have, not entirely infrequently, we have seen ships go up and down the western side of the Black Sea during the night, or kind of operating in way more off hours than we would normally see. They're operating like at the same time as you would expect them to see based on weather conditions, which is great, but it means that there's enough traffic in and out of there that there's a higher chance that if there was something else going on, Ukraine would probably detect that in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what they would be looking or like capable of doing on the eastern side of the Black Sea. It would probably not. It would be from some other sensing abilities that wouldn't have anything to do with NATO. But I think it's really important to point out that currently they don't have a lot of submarines that are actually not in dry dock or in maintenance. There's actually, like, the majority of them are right now. And they've been able to target those with scalp. If Germany ever sends more tourists, they'd be able to use those. Like, they have other options for targeting those. I think those are really effective ways of using those particular weapons, and I'm not sure that the helicopters would be as effective at doing that kind of work. I think that there's probably better uses for the helicopters right now. Let's put it that way.
I updated my map while you were talking.
Nice.
Yeah, with that change I was talking about before, where the area is obviously held by Ukraine. So now the map shows it. See? Boom.
Wicked.
Yep.
Very cool.
Anyways, I think that's it. We did a 2-hour stream this morning. You can go listen to that if you want to. Gik and I, we talked about like a lot of stuff. We talked about Avdiivka. We've talked about just tons of random stuff because we were going through the whole satellite imagery looking for interesting things. So as we passed through locations, we kind of talked about the location for a little bit. And in this stream, I kind of went back and talked about the same sort of things. So I don't know, maybe you don't need to watch the other one. I'll probably do a standalone video on Avdiivka. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's the stream. Thanks for coming, Exit and Constantine, and everybody else.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh.
Us.
Oh, and one last thing. Let's see. How's your How's your thing going?
By thing you mean fundraiser?
Yeah.
I
You're up,
thought you'd never ask.
you're up to 45,000.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. We got 45,000 out of 60. We have still 15 to go. And thank you very much for talking about it. Yeah, we welcome any donations if you're interested to help to get the drones to Ukrainian military, including, for example, if you care about our defenders in Avdiivka, we're gonna have delivery to them in 1 week. We'll deliver I think 20 drones, which together cost $40,000 to them. We have deliveries to 92nd Brigade, to 5th Assault Brigade, to 25th Air Assault Brigade, and many others that really do need our drones right now, because with the lack of the support from the United States, these drones, they are as critical as never before. And if you're willing to help, please, just follow me and just find me on Twitter. And I have a pinned post with a link for the donations. And you will also see nice videos that I post.
Yeah. The link is also in the description of this video.
Yes, thank you very much. So you can take a look at the description of the video.
Yeah, the description goes straight to PayPal. Because a lot of people who watch this channel do not have Twitter or X, whatever. So I put a link straight to PayPal, because you can't look at Twitter anymore unless you have an account. Because that was a genius move that Elmo made.
Oh, I did not know that.
It's a genius move. But anyways, yeah, that's why the link goes straight to the PayPal.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing this up. And thank you for your donations. They do save lives.
Yep.
Ukrainian lives.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, and goodbye, everybody.